Welcome to session number 7 of Piobaireachd with Old Black Part. And I'm Old Black Part, John Pardonin. Okay, session number 7 deals with Taurluaths. In Piobaireachd, you're going to find whole variations of a lot of the tunes devoted to Taurluath movements. And so you'll typically have a Taurluath singling and a Taurluath doubling. Okay, a few things to mention about Taurluaths. First of all, they're played on a melody note, and preceding that melody note is usually a high G grace note. Unless you happen to be on high G, where you put in a high A grace note. Next trick about making good strong Taurluaths are strong low Gs. The first low G of the Taurluath movement itself, very important. If you've missed that low G, you're probably going to miss the second one after the D grace note, and then you've missed your Taurluath. So strong low Gs in your Taurluath movements are very, very important. Okay, so let's see how you do some Taurluaths. If you're on low G, your Taurluath movement is pretty simple. You're going to have a high G grace note on low G, a D grace note as you go to low A, and an E grace note on low A. So let me do that again for you. High G grace note on low G, a D grace note to low A, and an E grace note on low A. Walk you through it one more time. High G grace note on low G, D grace note as you go to low A, and an E grace note on low A. Here's how that sounds. Okay, let's do a few more of those, but gradually increasing in speed. Okay, low A's, a little bit more complicated. You're going to have a high G grace note on low A. Then you have to close down the chanter for a low G, make a D grace note on low G, and an E grace note as you come back to low A. So let me walk you through that again. High G grace note on low A, close to low G, D grace note on low G, and an E grace note as you go to low A. So here we go again. G grace note on low A, close down to low G, D grace note on low G, and an E grace note to low A. Here's how that sounds. Okay, let's do a few more, but gradually increasing the speed. In Piobaireachd, you don't need to go any faster than that. You just need to keep them steady and everything heard. Okay? Let's try some on B. You're going to have a high G grace note on B, close the chanter to low G, a D grace note on low G, and an E grace note to low A. So let's do that again. G grace note on B. Close the chanter to low G. D grace note on low G and an E grace note to low A. Here's how that sounds. Okay, let's do a few more, but gradually increasing your speed. Ready? Okay, now C Taurluaths. High G grace note on C. Close down the chanter to low G. D grace note on low G and an E grace note to low A. I'll walk you through that again. High G grace note on C. Close the low G. D grace note on low G and an E grace note to low A. Here's how that sounds. Okay. C Taurluaths, gradually increasing your speed. Here we go. That brings us to D Taurluaths. D Taurluaths are a little bit different. You're going to be making some B grace notes here, not D grace notes, B grace notes on low G. So remember your balanced grip. Your thumb should be between these two fingers or at least below this finger. That balances your grip. Then you can make those B grace notes easily without dragging other fingers off the chanter. Okay. For a D Taurluath, you're going to start with a high G grace note on D. You're going to close down to low G. Now you're going to make a B grace note on low G and an E grace note to low A. I'll walk you through that again. High G grace note on D. Close to low G. B grace note on low G and an E grace note to low A. One more time. High G grace note on D. Close to low G. B grace note on low G and an E grace note to low A. Here's how that sounds. Okay, and now gradually increasing your speed. D Taurluaths. Okay, now for E Taurluaths. I'm going to go back to D grace notes again. So, for an E Taurluath, It's a high G grace note on E. Close down the chanter to low G, a D grace note on low G, and an E grace note to low A. Let's walk through that again. High G grace note on E. Close to low G, D grace note on low G, E grace note to low A. Here's how that sounds. Okay, gradually increasing our speed. E Taurluaths. F Taurluaths. High G grace note on F. Close the chanter to low G, D grace note on low G, and an E grace note to low A. Walk you through it again. High G grace note on F. Low G, D grace note on low G, and an E grace note to low A. One more time. High G grace note on F. Low G, D grace note, E grace note to low A. Here's how it sounds. And now increasing in speed. Okay, a high G Taurluath. Here you're going to make a high A grace note on the high G. So you're going to have a high A grace note on high G, close the chanter to low G, a D grace note on low G, and an E grace note as you go to low A. So again, I'll walk you through that. High A grace note on high G. Close to low G, D grace note on low G, and an E grace note as you go to low A. One more time. High A grace note on high G. Be sure you have the correct fingering for high G. Close the chanter to low G, D grace note on low G, and an E grace note to low A. Once more. High A grace note on high G. Close to low G, D grace note on low G, and an E grace note to low A. Here's how that sounds. Okay, now increasing in tempo. Brings us to high A's. In Piobaireachd, with a high A Taurluath, there's typically no embellishment on the high A. So you're just going to have the high A. Be sure you have the correct fingering for high A. You're going to close down the chanter to low G, a D grace note on low G, and an E grace note as you go to low A. So again, high A with the correct fingering, closed to low G, D grace note on low G, and an E grace note to low A. Here's how that sounds. And increasing in speed. Here we go. Okay, those are your basic Taurluath movements in Piobaireachd. Again, keep the strong low Gs and nice big grace notes so everything is clearly heard in the movement. Don't crunch your Taurluath movements in Piobaireachd. Display them. Everything should be clearly heard. Now some practical application of Taurluaths. First tune we're going to look at with Taurluath movements is the Macintosh's Lament. Now I picked this tune in particular because a lot of players kind of plow through this and forget they're making music, and it comes out sounding like an exercise. But no, you have to remember you're making music. So when you're performing your Taurluath, keep the long melody notes in front and keep your Taurluath movements consistent. So let's look at the Taurluath singling variation of the Macintosh's Lament. Now you can find the Macintosh's Lament in the Piobaireachd book and on page 225 of the Piobaireachd Society collection. So here we go. Singling, line 1, Macintosh's Lament, Taurluath. Now for line 2, don't forget the 2 extra bars that are put into line 2. You'll see that where it says line 2 only, you have to insert those 2 bars. So here we go, line 2. Okay, for some more work, let's look at line 3, but this time the doubling. The doubling should be up a little bit in tempo, but not so much that you lose the musical flow of the tune. Here we go. Fourth line. Okay, there you have it. Now don't rush this tune. This is a very sad lament about a bridegroom killed on his wedding day. And his wife was heard humming this tune as she walked along beside her husband's casket on the way to his funeral. Undoubtedly heard by a piper who set it to music. So this is a very sad tune. So don't rush it. Keep it musical. For some more work on Taurluaths, let's go to Black Donald's March, which is on page 87 of the Piobaireachd Society. I think it's also in the Kilberry book. Anyway, this is a march, and so your tempos are up a little bit in this, not like in a lament, but in a march or a salute type of tune, your tempos are going to be up a little bit. So we'll look at the Taurluath doubling of Black Donald's March, also known as the Piobaireachd of Donald Dhu. So there you have that. As you can see, you could actually march to that tune. And so your style of playing kind of should follow whether it's a march or a salute, a gathering, or a lament. So anyway, that's it for Black Donald's March.